What up, yo? This is Sen Dog from Cypress Hill. In the house, chilling. You watching me on Backspin TV. 1991, our debut album, Cypress Hill. We were still street kids, still gangster with it. You know what I mean? We hadn't changed, and we were new to the business and stuff. And the vibe that we had back then was so gritty that it established Cypress Hill for what it is, and for here today, but we were still gangsters at that point. The album that all the critics said sucked was Black Sunday, but it sold 5 million fucking copies, and and to this day people say that that record wasn't true hip hop or real Cypress Hill, whatever, but it sold more than any of the rest of the records. So I love Black Sunday just for the reason that it was a militant record, and it was a rebellious record, and it did things that it wasn't supposed to do. Temple of Boom, that's the album where I didn't really want to be in the band anymore. I don't know, I didn't really want to do hip hop anymore, and that was right around the time when I got out of the band. Cypress 4, that was my return to the band. That was like 2.5, almost 3 years later. What I remember about Cypress 4 was it seemed like we were trying to figure out what direction to go in. There was many different elements to it. Yeah, but it wasn't followed through all the way, kind of. But I still think we had some good songs on there. You know what I mean? And probably one of the sickest album covers that we've ever had. Skull and Bones, man. Finally I got my way a little bit on that record. Talk the guys into let's do some rock and roll with this Cypress Hill thing. And it was something that I have been doing with my own band, SX10. And one day B Real and Muggs came to one of my shows, and they saw the Get Down, and they were like, man, let's try something. So we tried to do our own version of it, and henceforth Rock Superstar was born. Stone Raiders, I like that record a lot. I think it's right around the point right there where our old label Sony Music wasn't sure about us kind of anymore, and they thought we were kind of like at our end or something like that. But Stone Raiders to me was a great album, but I don't think it got the proper attention and light that I think it deserved. Till Death Do Us Part. Do we really have to talk about that record? I mean, just for the record, I mean, and this is just me and my personal opinion, I didn't like that record. No, very little of it, and that's just me. That's just my opinion. I'm sure you ask the other guys in the band, they might tell you something different, but just for me, I think it was a poor representation of what we could do and what we were capable of. I just think that we had just kind of like strayed away from our strong points, being, the hardcore hip hop thing and the rock and metal influence and stuff. And there was no Latino influence in there, you know what I mean? And, from songs like Latin Lingo and Tequila Sunrise and Latin Thug and all that stuff, there wasn't any of that on there. Rise Up, I like Rise Up as much as I like the first two albums. Yeah, well, it was the first album that, B Real and I were in charge of the production and choosing the tracks and what producers we wanted to work with. And until that point, we hadn't had that opportunity to do that. Muggs was always in charge of the full production of all the albums. And this album came upon us, when, Muggs was not going to be available, because he has his own label now and he's doing various projects with various artists. So, I always felt confident in mine and B Real's musical ability, to come up and, and create something new, fresh, brand new. You know what I mean? We think a lot alike on a lot of the same levels, and we basically like the same musics, and what he plays in his car I'm probably playing in my car, that kind of a thing. So we think the same. So we wanted to make a return to our Latino influences. We wanted to make a return to our rock and roll side, and always just come with real rugged hip hop. You know what I mean? When people say it's undeniable, you know what I mean? Like the song "It Ain't Nothing," that's real hip hop shit. I stayed motivated because I got children and their shit's expensive, and no, I mean, I stayed motivated because music is what I do. It's in my blood. It goes back, a couple hundred years in my family. With all the men have always been entertainers, and it just happened to where I was an athlete first, and I just started doing music as a hobby just to mess around, and it ended up turning into a career, and it keeps me going motivated now. What keeps the band motivated is 20 years, and there's no other groups from our era than when we came out. I mean, possibly like Ice Cube was around before us or whatever, but a lot of the bands, we've outlived them all of the hip hop bands, and to be part of Cypress Hill is special to me. It's it's as special as saying like I'm from the Beastie Boys, or I'm from Public Enemy or something like that. I'm from Cypress Hill. We're rare. We're like the Grateful Dead of hip hop. Well, when we chose that label because they had when it came down to it, Snoop Dogg was getting put in place there. You know what I mean? And he gave us a call, and he's like, "Look, Cypress, I want you guys to roll with me on this priority thing. You guys are very important West Coast, part of hip hop, and we're bringing back a legendary hip hop label, and he's going to be put in place, and he wanted us to be the first act on there." So, for a guy like Snoop Dogg to call you up and tell you, like, how much he likes your band and how much it means to him to be the first band on there to release, it was a simple decision to make. It was a great look. Not many people could say that, Snoop Dogg is my boss. You know what I mean? I that's the guy that signed me, you know what I mean? So I got to give Snoop Dogg a lot of love for that, and, and good looking out. He knows we got nothing but love for him. And we know he's got nothing but love for us, and the way he looked out for us was incredible. And it's awesome. You know what I mean? Well, not for Cypress, man, because we've always, we erased the line. You know what I mean? We're one of the hip hop bands that made it cool for heavy metal dudes to come to hip hop shows and still get their mosh on and still get in the slam pit and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So for us, for me anyways, there's no difference. We've opened up, for Metallica, we've opened up for Kiss. We've gone on tour, some of the greats like Soundgarden and Pearl Jam, Nirvana, you know what I mean? And I approach it the same way, like when I was, we were performing on tour with, Ice Cube or the Beastie Boys or Public Enemy. I approach it all the same way because, to me, my energy that I give off is energy, point blank. No matter if it's hip hop energy, rock and roll energy, I'm gonna make it a point to, just be me, be myself, and not really care about what the critics think or what anybody else says. You know what I mean? I'm a half hip hopper, half heavy metal guy, and that's how I get down. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. As far fetched as it may seem, I would love to, one day work with like John Paul Jones or Jimmy Page, to have them guys on a song or something. You know what I mean? I would love to work with Lenny Kravitz. Last night we were hanging with Grace Jones, and she was telling us about her knowledge of hip hop and how far back it goes. And we were really impressed, and I would love to do something with her one day. Maybe something with Ozzy. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. I think it would be a complete just sickness, and people would just completely go bananas and shit. Well, there was a lot of things, man. We all had solo albums that we wanted to get out, and that took a little while. You know what I mean? And in the meantime, we were still doing shows around the world at Cypress Hill, but we were not recording. And then around late 2000, we didn't start recording till late 2007. You know what I mean? Right around October, November, December, that's when we started recording. And then 2008, 2009, it was just, every day, Monday through Friday, like going to an office, record. So we had to get those solo records out, and then we had to find a record deal, man. And it wasn't easy because a lot of record companies don't have faith in a 17-year-old rap band or something. You know what I mean? They think that you're done with it, and they think that you're over. But when you come out and you play some of these festivals in Europe and around the world, in the United States and everything, and you see the reaction that the kids still give you, you know that you're not done. And it's the record company's job, I guess, to be careful in what they sign to make sure that they don't take a loss, and whatever they put out is a success. But Cypress Hill is the one rap band that, we go against the grain, we break all the rules, and there's nothing normal about us. You know what I mean? Whatever you think about hip hop or anything like that, think the opposite way about Cypress. We did 20, and we'll probably do 20 more. Oh, big shout out to my man Tom Morello and Darren Malakian and Mike Shinoda for coming through on the album. Mark Anthony, Pitbull, Mr. Jim Johnson, all the guys that helped out on the record, DJ Muggs, everybody, Jake One, Pete Rock, everybody that came through Everlast, couldn't have done it without you, and we love you guys for that. That's real.